A New York judge ruled former President Donald Trump committed fraud for years while he was building his lucrative real estate empire in a civil lawsuit brought by the state's Attorney General. Joining me now is Sky News contributor Kosha Gada. Kosha, if it's not one thing, it's the other. What's the go with this case?
Hi, Caleb. Great to be with you. So this is a civil case. It's one of many, actually, in terms of the civil system that he is up against. There's a sexual harassment case with E.G. and Carol about the Bergdorf-Goodman situation. There's this one, which is alleging financial fraud and things relating to the Trump enterprise, the business. That's a civil bucket. Of course, the criminal bucket is the one that's been getting more news right now. Those are, of course, the 4 cases, the New York one, the Georgia one in Atlanta, and then the 2 by the federal prosecutor, special counsel Jack Smith. And the bottom line, I think, about all of this, which is the real lead here, is make no mistake, the final endpoint of this, if it were to all reach its maximum possible endpoint, he is looking at 500 years in prison sentences, potentially. That won't happen, but that is what this stacks up to. And at the same time, he is running away with the nomination. He's 40, 50 plus points ahead of every single person in the Republican side, and he's either tied or leading Joe Biden in all polls right now in the general. That tells you a lot about just where the electorate is and how people are seeing this particular case, or all of them more broadly right now, and what it really means.
Look, I've been running this conspiracy theory that Trump's organised all of this because every time there's an indictment or some nonsense like this, his polling numbers go up. I mean, it's been good for him. If the left and all these states reckon they're actually taking up the fight against him, I mean, surely at some point they've got to wake up and realise it's not working. It's just turning people onto him.
You know, there's a calculus, I think, that they made, and there's Democrats, leading sort of thinkers and consultants in that space, who at the start of this year had a calculation that this will muddy him up, or, you know, he's got a lock on sort of the floor of the Republican Party, but it might muddy him up with the independents or the people that are a little bit on the margins. That does not seem to be happening right now. And it's funny, I think, you know, that's what every other candidate would say, just give me an indictment and maybe I'd get these numbers. But I wouldn't make light of the legal peril that he is in, where, you know, this is probably making its way up to the Supreme Court, and it's dubious, really. That's what legal scholars say, most of the cases, but there are some that may potentially have some legs, and that is not to be discounted. So that's sort of the legal side of the argument, but politically it's completely backfiring.
Yeah, and then you've got the president's son, Hunter Biden. He's now suing Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, over what he's called the total annihilation of his digital privacy. Of course, he'd had boasted, Giuliani that is, of accessing the data from the infamous Hunter Biden laptop. And Hunter is now suggesting that the data on that laptop had been manipulated. So is he suggesting that all the photos we've seen of him taking drugs and with hookers and whatever else, you know, might not be legit? Is this sort of starting to muddy the waters a bit?
It would appear so. So initially it was Russian disinformation, and we know there were many people who said, oh, we can't test the veracity of these things, and so it was suppressed. Now they're talking about Rudy Giuliani manipulating it. But it's all smokescreen. I think, you know, this is one of 3 layers around the Biden situation that's really gaining more perspective and more awareness in the public arena. One is just Biden's infirmity and lack of mental acuity. Everybody can see that. The second is his policy agenda, and reality on the ground in America right now is catching up to reality in politics when you just look at everything that's going wrong with that. And then the third is the whole corruption specter, and Hunter Biden's, you know, latest thing over here with Giuliani fits into that. But I think that's one that's least, the American public is maybe least caught on to, but it's growing, and this is not a good look as that awareness grows because people can see what's going on.